Hello, everybody. I am yet again Price McKinney, simply put. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening. So, we're going to dive right into this head first. Do you be you? Just be yourself. Why is that important? Because when you don't, chances are you have already at this point either conformed to somebody else's image or likeness or you're already living it. And when that happens, you are living your life based on somebody else's opinion of you, or you're doing what somebody else tells you or has told you what you should or should not be doing, um, who you should be dealing with, where you should be going, all the above. And the challenge with that is, even though in some cases this may be true, but the challenge with that is internally there's a you that's screaming to get out. And that you is yourself, literally. And it is up to you to determine who that person actually is. So when you're living for somebody else or through somebody else's um, something they haven't accomplished or acquired, or you living through their dreams and aspirations because they didn't quite make it, your identity becomes what they say you are, which determines what you do, which also determines who you're around, your circle, your people, however you want to call it. And in the middle of all of that, you're doing stuff that you're not even supposed to be doing, or that you're not that you don't even benefit from. For example, when I first started doing Simply Put, right, and sometimes you can do the right thing the wrong way. When I first started doing Simply Put, obviously this is about relationships. Um, and when I started out, one of my first videos, I was actually talking about purpose. And one of my buddies pulled me up, and this is why it is important to have people around you that will snatch your tail up and keep you accountable to what it is you need to be doing, and keep you on the right course and the path. He pulled me up. I got mad. I got offended. I was pissed off. And I had to circle back around and apologize because he was right. And he told me, he said, I'm not saying what you said was wrong. That's just not your lane. And what I soon discovered was in doing that one video, that was all I had, and I tanked out because that's not what I was supposed to be talking about. Excuse me, my conversation is and should be relationships. That's what I know. That's what I've lived. That has been the entirety of my existence. That has been my experience. So that's what I'm able to talk about. And so there's a consistency with that particular conversation or with that particular category. With purpose, this is one shot, one kill. I was done. So again, this is why it is important for you to know what it is and who it is that you are, because it determines what you actually do. Also, keep this in mind, and this is important, because when you live your life and live your identity and you're not yourself, and you're living based on what other people have said, you wind up doing for other folks. You're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, you're doing that. And typically it does not benefit you. And you wind up, figuratively speaking, bleeding out. You get drained, you get tired, you're exhausted. And you're just spinning your wheels over and over, and you're not getting anywhere with it. It's simple. It's because it's not what you're supposed to be doing. It's very well, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't even know how to figure that out. I'm gonna give it to you. It's very simple, and this is free. I'm not even gonna charge you for this. This is free. I'm your boy. I got your back. Whatever you love doing, hear me clearly. Whatever you love doing, you could potentially get paid to do it, not get a dime for it, not get paid at all to do it, and still love doing it just as much. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Now you can, there are countless books out there on this subject matter, but it's literally this simple. Whatever you love doing, you could potentially get paid for it, not get paid for it, and still love doing it just that much. That's what you should be doing. Because please understand this, folks. Somebody's opinion of you does not define who you are. Only God Himself knows that because He's the one who created you. So He's the one to put whatever's in you that's in you. But it's up to you to figure that out. What is that one thing that you love no matter what's happening, no matter what you have or don't have, no matter where you are, no matter how bad life is, no matter how somebody has treated you, whether you on cloud nine or down in the dumps, it don't matter. You still love doing that one thing. That is what you're supposed to be doing. Why is that important? Because that's what determines who you are. It's not based on somebody else. It's not based on what this person told you. There's no granted. Don't get it twisted. Like with me doing Simply Put, I have to get help with this. I'm not a media guy. I'm not a computer dude. So I have to ask for help with this, and I'm cool with that because that's not my lane. It's not my area. So I have to ask questions. I have to do research. I have to look at YouTube videos to learn about how to even just post on YouTube. So I got to learn that stuff. But the content, I can do that all day long. But what I don't know how to do, I have to ask questions. So I'm not saying that at all. Don't ask questions or anything like that because you do have to. But what I am saying is be true to yourself. There's a natural you that's just you. And you don't have to change that. It is not somebody else's job to change who you are. And if that's the case, I talked about that in the last video, don't change your identity. If you have to change all of who you naturally are for that person, you're not the right person for them. They're looking for somebody else. Now, that may be an added benefit for them to keep you. And in most cases, that's what happened. That's what happens. But eventually, you're going to become resentful. You're going to get tired. You're going to get sick of dealing with this because it's not who you are. I love grilling. There's a certain way out. For example, if I'm grilling, I'm burning my hot dogs, non-negotiable. If that's not, you don't have to eat them. That's not being rude or disrespectful. That's just the way I like it. Now, if you ask me to cook them like that, I will. But what you're not gonna do, you're not gonna change me into cooking the way that I like grilling, the way that I like grilling, because that's just something I love doing. That's just who I am. Now, for something that's off and something that I need to work on, then yes, by all means, I will listen to that. But if I see what's changing me into something that I'm naturally not, no, player, we're not doing that. I've lived that life for years, and that's why I've been single as long as I have been, because I've finally gotten to the point where I've discovered this is who Price Marcel McKinney actually is. Now I know what to do, what not to do, who to hang around, who not to hang around, where to go, where not to go, because it presets a boundary and it puts you in your own little block, in your own little space, and you determine what comes in and what goes out. And that's the significance and importance of knowing who it is that you are, because it eliminates you having to deal with a whole lot of extra and being frustrated and being irritated because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, because you're not being who you're supposed to be. So again, do you, be yourself. If the right person comes along, they're going to aid and assist you on this journey, on this path, and help you get where you're supposed to be. They'll push you without a shove. They will compliment you. They will correct you when needed, but they won't do it in a way that's harmful. It's not going to hurt. It's going to be helpful. That's the difference. So again, I'm Price McKinney. Simply Put. If you have not already, go to YouTube. Simply Put with Price McKinney. This is the Simply Put podcast. Go to YouTube, like, subscribe, watch your video. I'm also on Facebook. Price McKinney with Simply Put. Instagram, the same thing. Simply Put with Price McKinney. And again, more importantly, if you have not already, go to YouTube, Simply Put with Price McKinney, and subscribe to the Simply Put podcast. And again, that's who I am, Price McKinney, Simply Put. I'm not an expert. I just know what I know, and I promise you, I'll see you soon.